Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Guild Ball match, and tonight we have Scather versus Ferrite of the Blacksmiths. I choose Snow as my mascot, and Hiddlefon chooses Alloy. Sucks to be him. He gets a player with better stats than my captain, but I get an ablative activation. I go with Veteran Hearn because 2-inch melee, momentous knockdown, and last light. He goes with Hearth because probably 2-inch melee, knockdown, and give and go aura. I go with Egret because the little I know about Blacksmiths is that they will want to bunch up, and ranged character plays will ignore their armor. He goes with Iron. My opponent's never faced Hunters before, and so he's basically got in mind already what he wants to take, and what I'm doing makes no difference to him. And in turn, his pick makes no difference to me, because I don't really know what to expect either. I go for Minx. AP efficiency, some momentum gaining, and ease of putting out snared. Blacksmiths go with Bolt, which doesn't make any difference to me, and I go with Chaska. I was saving Chaska last to make my opponent wonder if I was taking the bear, not that he was, because I can tell you frankly he doesn't give a shit, and then he goes with Faris, purely as far as I can tell to confuse me with his captain, Ferrite, because all the Blacksmiths look the same to me, and they sound even similar. I lose the roll and get told to kick. I actually have something of a plan for this. So I deploy Minx on the far wing, left wing, Scather left of centre, Hearn slightly left of centre, Snow in the centre, Chaska right of centre, and Egret somewhat right of centre with the ball. Blacksmiths deploy Iron, Alloy, Hearth, Ferrite, Faris, bloody hell, Bolt. I kick off with Egret. Her speed and kick range make her great for this. I'm aiming to try to tuck the ball behind this doghouse. A 1 would send it into my half, and a 5 or a 6 would send it at his players. I roll like a 5 and a 2, and think, fuck it, it's not that terrible, and keep it. I should mention terrain. We've got these blocking obstacle things over here. This, I don't know the terminology very well. Not blocking obstacle where you can run through it, jog through it, but can't sprint or charge, and apparently dodge through it. We've got a little patch of rough ground in the centre, perfect for Chaska and Hearn, and then some fast ground out on the flank. So I should mention the rough ground has dictated my positioning of Chaska and Hearn, and they like to be in the centre anyway, and I wanted Egret to be able to take advantage of this fast ground out on the side. We allocate influence. Blacksmiths allocate 2 to Iron, 1 to Alloy, 1 to Hearth, 2 to Ferrite, 3 to Faris, 3 to Bolt. I allocate 4 to Egret, 4 to Chaska, nothing to Hearn, Snow and Minx, and 5 to Scather. 5 on Scather is enough for a Snowball, Cold Snap and a Sprint. 4 on Chaska gives me a bit of flexibility. I can give out armor, I can sprint and take a shot, or I can walk up or get snowballed up and take 2 shots, something like that. And 4 on Egret we'll see in a minute. Blacksmith go, Alloy just jogs up. I think that widget's indicating he's got 2 inches melee from activating near Hearth. Passes the ball to Ferrite and banks the momentum. Egret jogs forward to within 8 inches of Ferrite and Faris. Yes, got them right. And here I cheat because I then flurry twice. Once on Faris, poisoning all these guys, and then once on Ferrite, poisoning these, damaging and poisoning these guys again. I look into my card, I could swear I didn't see that once per turn. I didn't even see a once per turn column. I was suspicious because it seemed far too good to be given to Hunters. My bad. Anyway, that's what I did, and then I used my dodge and back to the shadows to get way back into the backfield. As I'm not sure of the damage potential of these models, I'm aware they're pretty nippy. So I want to play it very safe and keep her away from danger. Iron gives himself impotence, sprinting down the line, knocking everyone forwards a bit. Minx wastes some time wandering out onto the wing. Ferrite passes to Bolt, using Hearth's aura to dodge them both 4 inches forwards. She puts up her legendary to give everybody extra movement. I go with Scather here. I can see he's setting up for a first turn goal, and I'm pretty sure there's nothing I can do to stop it with all the amount of movement he's going to be able to get. I was vaguely thinking to put down some fast ground over here, snowball Chaska forward, and then hopefully he would be able to like sprint and boombox Bolt. But I think even then he could get it, Chaska would be far forward out of position, and my own fast ground would be helping his guys. So I've popped it down just in the midst of my fellows, sprinted forwards, and cold snapped Alloy to get him snared and just slow him down a bit, anticipating next turn when I'll want to kick the ball out over here because of the heavy Blacksmith presence on the other flank. Oh, and I think I snowballed myself via Hearn as well. With her movement shenanigans, Faris actually sprinted from, well, she was pushed a little bit from her goal line, but pretty much from her goal line up to my goal line, engaging Chaska. I believe he was trying to block any attempt on Bolt. So I boombox her out of engagement, use the fast ground to get up into the rough ground, and then boombox her again out over to this position, dropping the trap as far as I can into this central area in the hopes that I can at least chop some inches off Bolt, or if not, have a nice central trap that someone's going to trigger at some point. Hearth sprints up into the rough ground to engage Chaska, and I move Snow to support Egret. And finally, Bolt activates. He passes to Ferrite. Jesus Christ. Banking the momentum for the goal shot. I believe he's been using the momentum to heal up various models. I think Faris was pretty damaged, so she got healed. Bolt then uses I'm Open to get Ferrite to pass back to him. This time using the extra give and go dodge from Hearth to dodge them both forwards. So with his first completely free jog, he's got 2 inches from the legendary, 2 inches from the fast ground, so he can go 8 inches over here, and then just uses his second jog just to move a little bit over the fence, tucking the ball away smartly. At the end of the turn, things look like this. It appears I've forgotten to activate Hearn, bugger, and I imagine I would have wanted him somewhere like here to engage Bolt and be within 6 inches of Chaska. But another option would have been to run him up forwards to support my goal run. The ball, by the way, got kicked out over here, aiming for Scather, and scattered off over here behind my guys. It's not terrible, but it's not ideal. So as I got pretty much no momentum, and he got some, Blacksmiths win the turn, and choose to go first. They put 1 on Bolt, 2 on Faris, 2 on Ferrite, looks like 3 on Hearth, and I believe that was a mistake, he didn't mean to put that many on it. 4 on Alloy and 1 on Iron. I put 4 on Chaska because I want to go for the pretty much free 12 damage this turn. 2 on Hearn to support Chaska with a bit of knockdown and momentum gathering. Scather gave me problems. Basically, I can't get the ball and score this turn, so I figured my best bet was to save influence, put only enough to maybe do a snowball or do a cold snap. Grab the ball with a sprint and maybe try to get up around here. I want to keep the ball on me because Blacksmiths seem to be designed to prevent you from killing the ball, which I think is great for the game. And what I mean by that is that Faris has got her little 2-inch thing where she can kick balls and give people legendaries if she's the captain to do the same thing. I know there are other models, I think it's Cinder, that can literally kill ball and get it kicked out again from range. And basically, if I do my normal Mortician's tactic of just booting the ball down the field, all Alloy does is just run over and kick it off the pitch, as he's got the speed and range to do that. So the idea here is to get it on Scather, keep it really far out wide, and just slowly make my way round to the goal, hiding the ball from his much better footballing team, as I reckon I can out-damage him in the centre. Minx has got 2 influence because I know I need to go after the apprentices, and Alloy's very dangerous, so I want to just send her in after him, do a little damage, snare him up, or keep him snared up anyway, and generate some momentum. Egret I've given 2 influence to because I don't like where she is. The Blacksmith Rapid Surge has pretty much pinned me in my half of the table, and I want her to get space somewhere. I was planning on having her out on this wing this game, but Iron being back here makes that unappealing. But somehow I've got to break her out, and I'm hoping to put some damage and poison on Bolt and use the pushes to kind of get up through into the midfield. So here we go. The damaged Ferrite activates first, rides into Egret for a free attack, knocking her down, and then rides off over here to engage Chaska and Snow. She triggers the trap, getting snared, and then knocks Chaska down. using momentum to heal herself back up. I need to get the ball quick before ally can get it. So Scatha drops her fast ground in as good a position as I can to benefit from it with Minx, and try not to get Alloy to benefit from it. Now that most of the Blacksmiths are damaged thanks to poison conditions and cold snaps, Minx has got a massive charge range, which I'm hoping to make use of soon, and Scatha gets the ball and hides out just over 10 inches away from Alloy. Ferrite goes in, oh bloody hell, goes in on Egret, knocking her down, generating some momentum to heal stuff up. I think she knocks some armor off Egret as well. And I'm more worried about Iron than I should be. I don't think I realised that he had only one, didn't have much influence on him. So rather than going with Minx, I go with Egret, stand her up and shoot twice at Bolt. I didn't use Flurry because I was losing a dice for being crowded out on a playbook, which I didn't realise that was a thing, but mostly because Ferrite has placed herself more than 2 inches away from Bolt. But I missed both shots, so it didn't really matter anyway. This allowed Alloy to go, activating within 6 inches of Hearth, who's a little bit further back than she would seems on these gravestones. We couldn't place her properly, and so he's got a 2-inch engagement range. He does his dodge, clears his snared, sprints over or charges Scatha. He might have 2 net hits as well, his plan being to tackle the ball and boot it off the pitch. I defensive stance and he isn't able to steal the ball off me, but he is engaging Minx at more than an inch, and I've got no way to move her, so she is pretty shut down this turn. I just noticed Hearth's been knocking Chaska down and pushing him out of the rough ground, which was annoying because I'd moved the dog up over here to be a boombox blocker from the angle he was originally at. But it's fine because I send Hearn in base to base, giving Chaska a last light, and on the snared crowded out Ferris get a 3 momentous damage and a momentous knockdown. Iron goes and beats savagely on Chaska. I think he's got 8 wounds left now. I'm trying to save momentum to try to win initiative. Oh, and for last light. So I just stand him up and boombox Faris 3 times, leaving her on 1 health left and poison, but unfortunately taking all my momentum to do it. And then I just drop a trap in front of Iron to be annoying. Finally, Minx has to use her move to walk up to be in range of Alloy. She flubs, getting 1 net hit, and I stupidly decide to go for the momentous dodge rather than the 1 non-momentous damage. He's up 2 or 3 momentum on me at this point, and I really should have got the snared and a little bit of point damage in the push, so I can get to cover. Mistake. And then Bolt goes, throws his horseshoe at Hearn, doing 2 damage, and also knocking Hearn down with his Shoomerang, and he decides to keep his momentum and not heal or save Faris. So she dies of poison, way! Oh, and Bolt has jogged over here. Faris comes back on my left flank. Blacksmiths go first, where they put 3 on Faris, 2 on Alloy. I don't know if there's anything on Hearth, there might be 1 or something. 4 on Iron, 2 on Ferrite, and 2 on Bolt. I put 6 on Scatha because I want to farm momentum and hopefully do some damage off Alloy, and then get the ball, use the dodges to get the ball and kind of come out towards the goal, get the ball free. 2 on Minx because I want to try to do a little bit more damage, I'm not going to finish Alloy off, but just keep going at the apprentices where I can. Chaska, I think at the end of this turn on like 1 or 2 wounds left, so I decided not to put any on him. He does fine without it, the traps are great, and I can put last light on him should my opponent decide to leave him for last. 3 on Hearn because I need options in the centre. I need him to be able to run up and help my goal, possibly, or go after Bolt, and he's the only one really in position to do that. Egret, I'm hoping 1 influence will be sufficient to get her to damage something and be able to run and just get into space up over here. So Blacksmiths go first, and Faris just rides casually up, engaging Scatha. rolls 7 dice, needing 5s, gets 5 successes, and pushes my captain with 6 influence and the ball off the table with a double push. Oh my fucking god. I cannot believe I didn't see that coming. How the fuck did I not see that? Oh my god. I was so pleased I'd killed her. I was so pleased. And look what she did. Look what she fucking did. Fuck. So with that all wrapped up, she beats Minx a bit, knocks her into engagement with Alloy. The ball, by the way, scattered out from the centre and went directly slap bang to Hearth. And so it's desperate rage time. I had cold snapped her previously with Scartha, so she's snared, and I see, perhaps Hearn can go in, knock her down, or tackle the ball, knock her down, eclipse over the top, and he won't be in range to score. Let's not just kid ourselves. But I can then kick the ball out over here, and at least stop the goal, and maybe we can claw things back. Thanks to Hearn treating rough ground as fast terrain, I'm able just to run up to her. No influence spent. I had to spend my momentum to stand up from that fucking Shoomerang from last turn. So I have to knock her down before she knocks me down. I managed to wade past all the armor to 2 net hits. And then I'm reminded kindly that she's fucking sturdy. She obviously declared the counterattack. So now I'm utterly fucked. I choose the momentous tackle to just, perhaps I'll get a favourable ball scatter. So she knocks Hearn down momentously, killing off another 2 of my influence, and the ball scatters there or thereabouts, enabling Bolt to just wander up, take it, wander up, get into range to pass to Ferrite. Doesn't give a monkey's about intervening models, makes the pass, takes the dodge to crowd out Chaska. Uses the Hearth's play give and go aura thing to then dodge Ferrite through the fence into goal shooting range. Oh my god. So Egret doesn't have enough influence on her to clear the ball. In fact, it's impossible because I would lose a dice for the cover of that terrain feature, meaning I couldn't get to my 2 tackle. I've got 1 momentum from Hearn's glorious exploits. It's not enough for Boombox, but I figure I've got to try to save Chaska. So Chaska goes, he walks into this rough ground again and uses the momentum to heal himself. So he's actually on 12 health now. I made a mistake earlier, getting a bit ahead of myself. And I'm hoping that'll be enough to survive the iron rape train that's coming towards him. Ferrite scores the goal and takes the dodge to engage Egret. I kick out, hoping for favourable scatter to put the ball up where I want it, and it scatters directly to iron. Hooray! Why wouldn't it? So next on the save Chaska plan, I need a momentum to get a counterattack because there is a chance I might be able to hit that 2-inch push. Thinking about this properly, it might actually have been better to move Snow into 4 inches. If he hits the knockdown, it's the same thing either way. And if he doesn't, I don't need momentum to get dodges, so I will still probably die to the damage I'll take, but it would have, I guess, been more reliable, I don't know. In the event, I decide that Minx is the best way to get momentum, so I go with her. I'm crowded out, so it's 4 dice. Alloy is within 1 inch of the Sentinel aura, so it's 4s and 2s, and I completely whiff. No snare, no momentum, no dodge, and no charge. Alloy Dirty Knives Minx gets some momentum. I rush everybody at Iron, trying to crowd him out. I think Egret poisons Bolt to get the push away. And then Iron fails to kill Chaska. He's left on 1 wound. Blacksmiths have 6 momentum. I have none. They're going first. Iron goes, moves a little bit closer to Chaska, belly pushing Snow out of the way for just to minimize crowd outs. Just walks out of melee with Egret because he doesn't care. I get the tackle, but he's got close control. Salt in the wound. Salt in all the wounds. And yeah, Chaska dies. And it's a good game. 12-2 to the Blacksmiths. Let's do the post-mortem. The kick was a kick. It wasn't great in the end. But I think trying to put it around here was the thing to do. With Hearth's match experience aura, I'm not sure, but it's possible he could have got to goal range, either going with either side, although in the end Bolt's pass it back to me ability made the difference. So maybe I could have put it out here, forced him or Faris to go and get it. I think the result would have been the same. Egret's first strike was amazing, even if there was a bit of cheating. The ability to put out that damage and all those conditions on the first turn when momentum tends to be in short supply, but also very important, was absolutely fantastic, as was her ability to back to the shadows to safety and not get punished for it. In the end, I should have been less worried about the damage he could do and not have dodged back so far. I think I should have kept up in the midfield to better make use of this fast ground. Maybe be a little bit of a speed bump for him. But ultimately, getting trapped back here in my deep in my half was pretty terrible. Didn't think the first turn was too bad, other than Bolt's amazing goal and forgetting to move Hearn. Chaska up in a nice commanding position, supported by Snow. Got some threat out on the wing. Thought there would be enough to slip by a lowly apprentice, or preferably shank him on the way past. But in general, Hunter's very average tack just makes it a struggle against the armor and defensive capabilities of the Blacksmiths. We really rely on our character plays, sorry. In hindsight, maybe I should have used the Snowball to dodge Scatter forward so I could get her further up the pitch rather than banking the momentum. But the way the ball scattered just made it really difficult to be able to do anything before immediately losing the ball. I mean, Alloy's got such a huge ball-stealing threat range. And in the end, Alloy shut them down absolutely perfectly. I probably should have had more on Scatha. I just don't know what I could have done with it. It's possible Last Light ended up being a bit of a trap on Chaska. Perhaps it would have been better to boombox Hearth. I mean, it's not going to really do any damage she cares about, but it will move her out of the centre. Alloy would then struggle. Well, he still could get it, but he'd struggle more to get that extra 2-inch reach. The match experience would have been less threatening. Chaska would be further up the pitch. Even if Alloy does get the ball, then he's going to kick it probably back into the centre or kick it off the pitch so it'll scatter again, which could give me more options. I don't know. Chaska really was a super threat. Absolutely stellar pick into Blacksmiths. But there's only so long he can last against any team on its own, especially when it's got momentous 4 damage on 4 net hits. Momentum was key. Scatha tends to be really momentum light. And for me, it's normally Hearn and Minx that are the main batteries, and they really don't generate more than I give them influence. Minx can pretty reliably wrap on the charge, but other than that, there's slim pickings, and there's just not enough to go around to fuel the Last Light character plays, keep things healed, or try to win initiative. I'm trying to get used to the idea of not engaging, and so not being hit and starving enemy teams with momentum that way, so at least it's a bit more level. But Chaska and Hearn inevitably had to end up in the thick of it, and so I'm not sure that's really working or viable. I know Scatha can snowball to generate momentum, and people tell me that's an amazing play, and I absolutely agree. It is really, really good. It's one of the things that mechanically attracted me to Scatha in the first place. Snowball is an excellent play. However, when you've got match experience on tap, you can politely fuck off when telling me how amazing it is. Snowball is a really, really strong ability that anybody should be lucky to have. But its potential for use doesn't even come close, not even close to what the Blacksmiths can do here. And full points for Mr. Hiddlethon for using it so stunningly well. Big turning point of the game, obviously this. How on earth I didn't see that coming. I just forgot to ask to have a look at Faris's playbook. You should always be careful, so careful when going near the edges. My opponent was measuring out 8 inches from the board edge at every opportunity because he knew of my Chaska pushes. And I was looking at Alloy, no pushes, thought I was safe, and then boom. I've really got to get better at judging or thinking ahead to when players die and come back on and what they can do. But my opponent saw the opportunity and went for it, and that's what you get. And then the rest of the ball scattering and my attacking models in such a specific way as to trigger their specific defenses was just absolutely hilarious. So I found that really funny. But I absolutely have to hand it to Mr. Hiddlethon. This is the way all of our games go. He is just the master of getting me to play into his hands. It was so hard to attack his apprentices because they were either just out of the range or in a place where I couldn't put enough pressure on, a la Bolt here, or adequately protected. or just seemingly more important things I had to do to the Masters. Yeah, so well played, and hopefully one day it will rub off on me. I have been bitching a bit, but it's all in good fun. And I really did have super fun playing this game, and can't wait for the rematch. However, like Bolt, I am totally open to any pointers anyone wants to give me in the meantime, and until the next one, take care.